So welcome again. More of the catch up on the couch business. One of the industries, and certainly one of the people I have regular dealings with, is Stephanie Pettigrew from Marks and Worth. Stephanie, thank you for giving me a bit of time to catch up today.
You're welcome, Grant. It's nice to see you.
Thank you. I'm wearing a shirt.
Me too.
Business is not usual under these sort of terms, but I think some people are surprised to know that our businesses are. We can still buy and sell and assist clients in real estate, and to do that, we've always needed lawyers. So I just wanted you to touch on a little bit of what has changed under the lockdown rules and what hasn't from the perspective of conveyancing and general law work as well. So how have the last couple of weeks been in terms of your stock and trade of property dealings?
Yeah, they've been interesting. As you will know, the lockdown has meant people can't move house at the moment. So that's created a few interesting issues for people with giving and taking possession. But people are amazingly creative, and we've been pretty busy really the last couple of weeks since the lockdown began, with negotiating all sorts of creative solutions for people to enable their property transactions to still go ahead. There are some transactions that are being deferred, and that's been some of the guidance from the New Zealand Law Society has been around deferring transactions until we're probably at level 2, so that people can give and take possession. But that again requires the agreement of both parties, and we've found that there are lots of people who have been willing to agree to do things differently, and so we've maybe been negotiating rental agreements for vendors to stay on in properties so that settlement could still go ahead. We had some amazing people who rushed around in the week before lockdown to get out of properties and into properties by midnight on the 25th of March.
Oh, wow.
So that settlement could go ahead.
Yeah.
And as I say, a variety of other things. What we've found is that every transaction is different, but absolutely we're still working remotely. LINs are still operating. We're still able to transfer titles. We're still able to register mortgages. The banks are operating. There's still plenty of work for us to be doing in helping people transact property transactions. It's just all a little bit different, a little bit slower, and requiring a lot more sort of cooperation and collaboration, and parties being understanding of each other and working together to get a solution that's going to work for everyone.
Excellent. And there is a bit of a delayed effect with all of this. You are, I think, speaking of deals that have been done before. So if we're marketing a property for 2 or 3 weeks, we've brought a deal together, it's either conditional or it's sold, and we're waiting for the settlement date, that handing over of the keys and the money end of things. So we would be getting into more of those, knowing that we're sort of 2 weeks in now. So maybe another week or so of that effect, because that's typically the delay between we got a deal, now we want to move. But like you say, we can't physically go between properties for people. Yeah,
that's right. And look, I think definitely we're seeing a slowdown in the new contracts coming through. We have had some new contracts come through. There are still people negotiating deals, but again, probably properties that they had seen before the lockdown. But there are still some deals going through and contracts coming in at the moment. But that is definitely slowing down, and for us, we're definitely anticipating that there'll be a lag on the effect on our business in terms of the slowdown of work, because if people aren't doing deals and signing contracts this week, then we won't be doing settlements in May.
That's
generally,
right.
Which is how it works. So
yeah, and we'll see that. Sorry, carry on.
I was just going to say, yeah, it's been, for us so far, it was relatively busy in the first couple of weeks, dealing with all of, as you say, all the deals that have been signed up beforehand. But we're definitely starting to see that slow down, and expecting that the lag is going to hit us in the next.
And there'll be that effect with, the new Real Estate Institute stats are out for March. We're 23% better than we were March last year, which sounds exciting. But April will have that definite knock for the lack of properties that are on the market. I think if I'm typical of other licensee salespeople, we've got 2 or 3 in the tank ready to go the moment the green light can go on. So things will start pretty quickly, but I don't sort of make any other predictions outside of that, because there is just so much unknown. Especially, we don't know when level 3 or 2 will happen and what we're allowed to do under level 3 and 2. One thing we are allowed to do is knock around the house, and if you've got flour, then you can be a baker, and if not, then you're doing some home renovations, and getting those small jobs are being done. But what, from a point of view legally, can people do under lockdown that would be a bit of good maintenance on themselves, you know, outside of buying and selling properties? What other clever things can people give a bit of focus on?
Yeah, there's lots of things people could be doing, looking at their own legal affairs and getting their house in order in that respect. And that's definitely, you know, things that I think all lawyers are able to work remotely and do. So people can be looking at their wills, they can be looking at whether they've got enduring powers of attorney, they can be thinking about that property sharing agreement that they'd maybe talked about for years but never quite got around to doing. You know, all of these things can be advised on. We're still drafting documents. We can be advising people on those. So yeah, we're really encouraging people who have a bit of downtime, we have those kind of life admin jobs that have been sitting on their to-do list for a while, to think about that and you know, use this time if you can, and you've got the energy and the kids aren't driving you nuts, to turn around and look at those things and see whether you can come out the other side feeling like you're a bit more ready to face whatever's going to come next.
Yeah, well, like you say, figuratively tidying the house once you've literally done that part of thing, if you're able to. Your husband is a frontline worker on the medical side of things. He's home for the day, so that means that there's 2 on the parenting sort of tasks. But how have you found juggling the work and keeping the little people entertained and under observation at the same time?
Yeah, to be honest, Grant, that's been a challenge for me personally. So I've got 2 quite busy little boys who are 10 and 6, and yeah, when my husband's been out working during the day and I've been attempting to work and attempting to manage them, it's hasn't always gone as smoothly as I would like, I have to say. It'd be fair to say they're having a lot more screen time than I would normally be comfortable with, and perhaps a lot more junk food in the form of bribes. But and they've been joining in on a few Zoom meetings, coming and saying hi to people.
We're learning a few new tricks. You and I have never Zoomed. We're Zoomers now, if that's a...
Yeah.
I think there will be, you know, this sort of forced time in the house has been good for engagement with family and with other people, but also in business. There's going to be some clever tricks brought out of this that I wouldn't have looked for on my own, was sort of forced into it. But there's some really good things that have come from it. And you touched on it before, that with a bit of collaboration and a bit of goodwill and working towards each other, I think, and I would hope that can continue. That would be really cool if we could keep these things going forward from here.
And we're bringing our whole selves to work now. You know, my 6-year-old comes and says hello to people on Zoom. It's imagine if that happened in the office.
Yes.
It's a whole new way of doing things, and yeah, just being real and yeah, being, you know, we are in families, we live in families, we work, we don't just work in bubbles, and so I think it's, yeah, we're all learning how to do things differently.
Yeah, and I think that is one of the positives that's coming out of it as well.
He's just escaped from his father.
Okay. You've heard the noise and something new was happening, so that's kind of cool. You're exactly right though. It has sort of leveled us a little better, and we've learned some new things that I think are going to help on the home front and in business. So I get a feeling I'm keeping you from both at the moment, Stephanie. So I'll let you get back to it, and I look forward to transacting with you shortly, because I think things will get busy when we're allowed to get back out of the house. And back to what is the new normal. So enjoy yours, and we will catch up soon. Thank you very much for your time.
And you too. All right.
Yes. Bye.